Hey guys, thanks for checking out the Bucked Up Podcast. If you wouldn't mind just hitting the subscribe button, like, sharing the video, we have new episodes coming out every Monday and Thursday. Enjoy. Hey guys, before we get started, I just want to say that this episode is sponsored by North Carolina underground hip hop titans E the Mad Assassin and Seven to Panther. They recently joined forces with Polish producer Slide Beats to present their newest album, Carter and Newton, The Field Report, with a bonus track produced by Drug Beats. This album is drawing inspiration from the 97 classic debut, The War Report by Capone and Noriega. The West Coast transplants combine their respective aliases, Seven as Young Bunchy Carter and E as Graham Newton, to form their version of CNN to take the war report into the field. Carter and Newton, The Field Report, is currently available wherever you listen to music on all streaming platforms. Welcome to the episode.
It was at this moment that he knew.
He bucked up.
Now you fucked up. Now you fucked up. Now you fucked up. Now you fucked up. Now you fucked up. Now you have fucked up.
We're in Top Shelf Premium.
Welcome.
It's an honor. Thank you so much, Mark, for
welcome.
being on
I
us. Really.
appreciate you, man. Yeah, thanks for having me.
What about cassettes? You have a cassette collection that's crazier than.
Well, you're looking at what's for sale.
Yeah. Oh, this is your for sale. How about back there? Still
sale.
for sale?
For sale. Everything that's out in the public eye is for sale. This is my store, so I'm here to make money. That's
You have a personal collection.
Oh yeah, huge. Like see these cassette holders. They probably hold like 100 each box. Probably got like 5 of those.
Why cassettes?
Because they're just like, I mean, it's from my time. I remember that was the first time I ever heard hip hop was on a cassette. And they just kind of like, I like small, like records are awesome. Vinyl is awesome. Like I get it, but it takes up so much space and it could be very expensive as well, even though I've spent plenty of bread on certain cassettes, but some of them, you know, they just come across them in the wild for cheap.
What was the most expensive one you bought? People listening, I'm looking at your cassette collection as you speak. The one that you're selling, but still.
In this bin right here?
No, just like the most expensive one you've picked up on along the way.
I mean, my most expensive tape that I own is probably the purple tape. I think the Raekwon purple tape is probably worth, I think I've seen them on Discogs like 300, 400. I recently just, it was the 25th anniversary of Iron Man. Mm-hmm. And one of my friends was creating a commercial for Ghostface for the Iron Man tape. And they came to me because he knew of what like a nerd I am of collecting cassettes. And they used my cassette and it hasn't aired yet. I don't know when this is going to air, but for the 25th anniversary of Iron Man, Ghostface is taking a cassette out of a deck and putting it in their stereo. And it's my cassette.
That's your cassette. Yeah. That's pretty fucking
And
dope.
in return, he got, it's funny because the guy that, shout out Tosh, if I had to, he's like, yo, you want me to get it signed for you or something like that? And I'm such a purist. I said, no, I didn't want my cassette signed, but he got this signed for me by Ghostface.
Oh my God.
Yeah. The Wu-Tang Forever.
That's insane.
Yeah. So I just got this. So I'm super hyped on it. So
damn,
me being a nerd of cassettes got me something cool of something I really don't even collect. But
is Wu-Tang your what was your like first? You said you heard rap for the first time on cassette.
Yeah. So the first cassette that I owned was actually from a homie of mine. His family had like it was a dubbed Snoop Dogg tape. Mm-hmm. It was like a bootleg of a Snoop Dogg tape, but it was so cool because when he had it, it was like the comic book that got me so crazy. A Doggy Style, if you open the cassette, or even the CD, it's a comic book.
Yeah.
So I was just like, at that time I was probably like, whatever year that was, 94, right? Is that what the year it came out? Snoop, around that area? 94,
95.
I was like in 4th grade. So
I was born in 97. I'm a little
okay. All good. I'm just telling you that he had a photocopy machine and he photocopied the whole thing for me. And we made like a whole fucking booklet out of it because that's how much I was, enamored by the cassette.
The Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, the Snoop Dogg. So Snoop Dogg was definitely the first cassette I owned, but it was like a bootleg version because my parents wouldn't buy it for me. But the first cassette that I heard, I remember it was Domino. There's a rapper named Domino.
I don't know who Domino is.
I'll show it to you. I'll play it. It's a real West Coast.
All right. So you are a West Coast.
I love
guy.
West Coast hip hop. I mean, I was, born in New York and my family's from the Bronx. Like I'm total East Coast dude. But
Yeah, that's what I mean. Because we had when you had the Supply and Demand show, you put me on some of like my favorite, what I think is going to be the next generation of like East Coast, New York rappers. So it's crazy to hear like.
Yeah, that's just my true origin. But then, as time goes on, I'm in school and Mobb Deep and Big Pun and Wu-Tang. That's what I was raised on.
Yeah.
Biggie.
Biggie.
Yeah, of course. Same time.
Have you ever thought about doing a show out west?
Yeah, I'm actually, big time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Talking about it right now.
Oh, that's dope.
Got a few people.
Did you always know that you wanted to get in, like be a part of it, like be a part of the, because we're in your vintage clothing store right now.
Yes.
In Hoboken. And that's very different than like.
But it's not.
Exactly.
It's not. Where do you think these guys get their clothes from? Why do you think we're so, in love with these rappers and we think of them as icons because you want to dress like them? You know what I mean? So that's how it started. I didn't know I was always going to be in this position. I didn't know that you were going to interview me on some like, hey, this guy's a rap dude.
Yeah.
Because I'm a rap guy because I'm a fan of it.
I'm a comedian. I'm a rap guy because I'm a fan of it.
Right.
That's why I'm talking to you, is because we both came to something with different
angles.
And it's not like I don't want to be a rapper.
I definitely don't.
But I love it so much. I'm such a fan that I want to talk. I want to interview. I want to like.
Agreed. If anything, I think when I was younger, I wanted to be a DJ when I was like in my teenage years, but my parents would not get me turntables and my friends had them. But that was the end of the story fast.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there was never any drive for me to be a rapper. My cousins were like rapping all the time. My uncle used to rap in like the 80s, they're from the Bronx. So like it's hip hop. Everybody was doing it, but not me. I never, really wanted to jump behind a mic. Am I going to lie to you and say I never have?
Right. Of course.
I have, but not like in a serious manner.
You're not
I'm
taking it serious.
I'm going to fucking take this and put it on a vinyl and, do all that. But yeah, I just love it. And I think a true fan who really loves hip hop is going to have the same experiences because you just love it so much. You want to fucking do it.
Then what was your like
the intro to it to bring
the dream
Top Shelf?
Or like what was the dream when you were young? Like
playing basketball, girls. That was my, you could even look at like my senior quote. Like I just wanted like a car with a system to crack the pavement. You know what I mean? I said, I think I wrote, I wanted a car with a system to crack the pavement and living on an island with like 40 girls, just me and 40 girls. You know what I mean? Like,
so you were like, just kind of
living for the day kind of guy. Always still am,
but focused and it works.
Yes. Very focused. How did I get to this situation and how did the rap thing? Maybe is this where the full circle question is coming?
I guess I do want to know, like, was there like a moment when you were like, all right, I am going to focus? Because I had that moment and I think that's like, I enjoy hearing that.
So before we got on the mics, I was telling you throughout my 20s, I kind of just went where the wind blew me.
Mm-hmm.
I told you I lived in Spain, Florida, California, just doing all kind of jobs, you know what I mean? And I finally got back to the New York area and I had no job, no way of making money. And all I had was my clothing. And all I did throughout those years of being a traveler was thrifted and went to other little stores and picked up stuff. So I threw on eBay, was just kind of like a thing back at that year. And I threw out this Raiders hat. And I bought the Raiders hat for like $1 at a flea market. Somebody paid $50 for it. I was like, holy shit. Like somebody paid $50 for this hat, like a used Raiders hat. This is insane. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then I dug into it more. I started selling more on eBay and I went into a flea market, into the Lower East Side. And I, got a hiccup there.
All good. I'm drinking seltzer. It's about to happen to me in like 5 minutes.
Yeah, I had a seltzer on the way over. So I went to this flea market in the Lower East Side and I made $1,000 my first day, like selling. And then it changed my life since then. And now this is like 10 years later.
And you have a store. Were you a clothing kid, like growing up? Were you into fashion or anything?
No, not at all. Like my mom used to dress me in Ralph, but no,
Do you remember going into like thrift stores and liking it as a kid, or?
No, I remember my dad used to work for like the churches, and we used to get like donations, like the Salvation Army. We used to work for them, and we would bring like used clothes to them and, do that. And I did that often.
Yeah.
So like I was used to secondhand, but I never really shopped it as a child. It was really when I hit like 18, 19 that I started doing secondhand shopping.
And then,
So long story short, I was selling and I opened up a little pop-up in the Lower East Side, and then rappers started coming into my shop. Like Badass, Smoke Dizza. That's where I met like Rosenberg. Like,
do you remember the first rapper to come in?
No, not the first one, but like Retchie P, like those dudes at that era. That's when like I was like, oh, there could be, it's like there's like an alliance here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, because they're coming to me for these one-of-one pieces to be on stage, and I really saw it really strong with Joey. Because that was like when, 1999 was coming out, and, Before the Money, like I was the dude for Before the Money. Like,
oh, yeah.
Yeah. Wardrobe to all his, like,
I love Joey Badass so much. I went to a Logic concert just to see him opening
I
up.
probably would have done the same. I would have done the same. And, yeah, Joey's the man, dude. So I was the guy for a moment. You know what I mean? I was the guy for the moment, and they used to bring me everywhere with them. And I always kept that vintage aesthetic with me. You know what I mean? Like I was dressed in vintage. They were all in vintage. It was just like a walking commercial. I thought of it as. So I used to bring my VHS around. And one day I was just like, because I always think of this Big L video where he's rapping in a record store. I don't know if you can pull this up or you find it, but it's somewhere in like Sweden or something like that. And he's rapping in it, and it's so fire. I'm like, where's that shop? Like, where is that? So I was like, yo, why don't I do that in my shop? Invite the guys that I'm already smoking blunts with, hanging out with, chilling, going to shows. They're bringing me all over. Like Joey brought me to South by Southwest with him. Like I'm going to hotel rooms with other people. And, I'm selling privately to these places. I'm like, why don't I ask one of these guys to like rap in front of my clothing?
Yeah.
And we did it once, and then we did it twice. And then it just became this thing. Smoke Dizza was the first ever person that we filmed. And then at that time, like Mass Appeal was coming by the shop a lot, and they just picked up Dave East.
Yeah.
So then we put Dave East on there, and then it just kind of like trickled.
How did you find those beats? Because all the beats you use are insane. Are those?
Well, a lot of them, most of them now, I mean, like I'm saying, like started off with like 3 or 4 episodes, and now we're like over 90 episodes in.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's
getting
just
crazy traction on them. Like those freestyles are insane.
Yeah, thank you, man. It's not me, it's the artist. You know what I mean?
Totally. I totally understand.
It's the artist. And
you bring a certain aesthetic and vibe to it that is different. That's a reason that like it stands out to other things.
Well, I think what people kind of get high off is the curation of it. And that's what I take pride in, because that's how I make my living, is curating things. I curate my clothing. I curate the people that are around me. I curate a whole aesthetic. You know what I mean? So the artists that come onto the program, like I handpicked them all, kind of. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's definitely some folks that I want that I can't get, and maybe it'll never happen. Mm-hmm. And I like that. You know what I mean? And those are what makes me keep going. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's the reason I do 2 episodes a week of this, and that could be to the detriment of views, because it gets kind of over flooded. But it's because I just want to talk to everyone and have a conversation with whoever, whether it be you or whether it be fucking Sean Veek, the yoga instructor that got me into yoga after my bad, like when I hurt my calf, or Hologram be one of the first ones. It's like, I just want to have conversations in as many as possible.
Cool. Yeah, I get it. Another thing why we don't do a lot of episodes either is because it's a fucking bitch to film, because we use original VHS cameras.
I bet.
And the battery life is like 5 minutes on each battery. So like we're constantly changing them.
Well, each season is kind of like an album then when you look at it.
We do like 14 people a season. It's kind of been that average. I don't like count, but
yeah,
it's been around that time. around that range.
What was your first show that you did? Because that's where we met, was at the concert, the Supply and Demand show that you did.
First Supply and Demand show was like 2019.
What was your first show? Did you run concerts before?
No, I never ran concerts before. I threw one other show that like I put my name on it. I'm forgetting the name of the show right now, but it was headlining Mayhem Loren, Bodega Bams, yep, and Shahef.
Oh wow.
Yeah, we even went up to like at that time I was already rocking with Peter. Like he brought us up to Hot 97 to promote it.
Oh, that's amazing.
That was like the first ever show that like I was it was in control of.
Mm-hmm.
But then Supply and Demand came because me and so Mayhem's my partner on Supply and Demand. And he wanted to always do this like sneaker con kind of concert vibe. And I was like, yo, bro, like I come from flea market. That's the way I worked for years. You know what I mean? Like I was selling at flea markets and I would shop at flea markets. So I just knew how it worked when vendors are all involved, you know what I mean? Space wise. So it's like, I can handle that. No problem. You know what I mean? Concert part can't be that hard. You know what I mean? Like you just get some dope artists and we can put it all together. And we did it. I did it. It was in Brooklyn, the Brooklyn Night Bazaar. It was August, I believe 2019. And it was a smash, dude. It was a smash. Everybody came out, man. It worked beautifully. I combined the whole culture that we're involved with the beat sets from Sadhu,
who killed it again.
Yeah, he's been a part of the show every time because he's just like such a great person. And the first show was just so special. I mean, everybody came out that night. Muggs was there. Mayhem, he headlined it. Crime headlined it. Flea was on there.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So it was a fire show. Danielson, he brought out Al Divino. Like, it was cool, man. It was super cool.
As a curator, that must, because that's what, that must be a very cool experience to have your first one.
I think that's why people really love the show is because like from the moment you walk through the door, it's curated. You know what I mean? From the vendors that you're seeing, like I handpick all those people to the artists, to the beats that's playing in the background.
To Rome Street sitting there the entire time. Like
Rome Streets was selling merch. And that's another, thanks for saying that. That's a very important part of the show. Because I noticed the way that this world was working with merch. Very exclusive, very selling out. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, yo, there's a market.
Yeah.
There's a market there for this. And how cool would it be if it was in person? You know what I mean? Like, how cool would it be if you could walk up to Al Divino and buy a piece of art that he painted? How cool would it be to go up to Rome Streets and buy his merch that he sells out of, you know what I mean? Online, even to like artists like Bernard Art, you know what I mean? Like
shout out.
That's the guy who created the cover for Supply and Demand. That's Bernard Art.
He's going to be coming on next week. The
Is
podcast.
He?
Yeah.
That's my boy.
Yeah. He's awesome.
Yeah. That's my man right there. Cool, dude. Yeah. I love that. See, I love that.
Yeah.
That's
no,
cool. He's the man. And we're all a part of this culture.
That's so funny that you and him connect because West Coast shit, like he also does the artwork. Like he's done artwork inspired by like the Snoop Dogg shit.
Yeah.
He just did Larry June's new cover for that. Like
he's done Rock Marcy.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, shit with Madden. He's the man. Yeah.
That's cool that you got him.
But as a curator, you brought all the
I'm just
together.
trying to like, I was, bringing Instagram to real life.
So you didn't have like, there wasn't an envision of this. It kind of just felt your life. Do you feel like you let it fall into place?
Yeah. My main way to make money and kind of my only way that I make money is selling used clothes. I buy something for cheap and I sell it for high. Clothing. You know what I mean? That's the only kind of business mind that I have. You know what I mean? Was buying low, selling high.
But I mean, you have a store, like you have a shop.
Yeah.
Like,
and I think that all of what we've just spoken about helps push this, you know what I mean, is how well it's put together. Because if you looked at my store and, there was jeans here and T-shirts here and, shit
and
everywhere.
The colors didn't match.
Yeah, shit was everywhere. Like people will walk in and be like, what is this? And it could be fire everywhere, but it's like, what the fuck is all this? This looks like a junk, junk store. But no, I don't do that at all. And I don't do that with the Supply and Demands either. And I don't do that with the off tops either. I make sure that everything is done in the way that I kind of want it. You know what I mean? And it's presented
Organized chaos.
Yeah, I guess so.
But when did that mentality come on? Like, did you have like
A
a
hustler's
moment?
mentality. Like,
Yeah, a hustler's mentality that gave you a drive to the path that you're
started
on
just
right
working. You know what I mean? It was the vintage clothes that started working. And then when the off tops came, you know, people were coming to the store and buying stuff. You know what I mean? So it was
Yeah.
working. And then I just love this scene of hip hop. I don't know what you want to call it, this culture.
Do you remember the first like project you heard from this scene, or like the first like?
I mean, I listened to rap my whole life. So
Like,
I don't know.
Are you? So you're more
Sean
New
Price
York.
is my
Sean Price.
Yeah, Sean Price was like a huge, like when I was in my early 20s and I was in New York, I was going to see like those shows, you know, Sean P. And
never got to see him.
Yeah, the craziest moment, because me and my friend who started off top, like he's my camera guy, he does all my video. I asked him, I was like, yo, we've been doing this for like 6 years, 7 years. Like, what's like your favorite moment? And we actually had Sean Price, who was never on Off Top, but we filmed a music video of his in my store in the Lower East Side.
Oh shit.
Yeah. And he was my biggest, I'm like his biggest fan. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, everybody I'm sure is, but to me, he was the one, right? And we were smoking blunts with him in the basement of my shop. And that was like my friend's Josh, shout out Josh, his like moment. I was like, that's awesome, man. Cause I was like, you're absolutely right. Like that was so special.
What's your moment?
No, man, there's a lot of good ones. There's a lot of recent good ones. Like Willie the Kid blew my mind last year when he just came in with like 14 bottles of champagne and just like, you know, it's him and V-Don and the crew and we're all in here and we're hyped and it's like 10:30 at night and, you know, he's already 2 hours late, but it didn't matter because it was just like, it was fire. And then he just hopped on the mic, we turned the beat on and he just murdered it. Like first take and the energy was there. And then that was amazing. You know, some of the first seasons ones are super memorable. Bodega Bams, he brought a lot of energy. If you watch that one back, it's like his whole crew and the Tan Boys, and that was like a lot of fun. Shout out to 1,000 Words. You could see him in that video too. He's like,
really? I didn't. I have to watch that back.
He's a Tan Boy, and he was in that.
He's another one who pushes it from a different angle that works.
Yeah,
so
you know what I mean. We're all fans. Yeah, you know him, Bernard. We're fans of this, and we're just using our art to be involved. Because that's what Bernard's doing, straight up artist. Yeah. This is art, you know what I mean? Because I'm wardrobing the guys and putting them on stage and putting, you know, a piece of, you know, video content out there or.
Well, that's why I love like talking to you and you seeing it as just a fan. Like you're not like, because someone could run a show like Supply and Demand and let it get to their head where they're like, nah, I'm it. Like,
no way.
But you're a fan. Like, this isn't a rap podcast at all. As much as people, I'm just a fan that I get to happen to talk to like, oh, it's cool. I got Vic Spencer on the last week, but I also had on a comedian friend of mine that you know, is just from the area. Like,
I want to see a set of yours.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you ever do anything in New York or no?
Yeah, I do shit in New York. I'll let you know. Yeah. I'll let you know. I'm doing one in Brooklyn, October 9th. If you're listening, I'm having Raina Simone, who's been on bars on I-95, Killer Big Mont, a lot of great Deuce Ellis, a lot of great artists on there. I know
that my friend Rosenberg, his partner, Cypher Sounds, he's like a comedian as well.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, there's a little common.
You met Rosenberg just by him coming into the store?
No, I met Rosenberg.
Hey guys, before we get back into the episode, I want to say that this one is also sponsored by 607 Sound, based out of Elmira, New York. They're a local underground upstate music platform. They're actually executive producing an album called Integrated Affinity Volume 1, featuring artists from the 607 like Blicka Don, Anthony Cannon, MBK Ritchie, and more, as well as artists you've seen on Bucked Up like Jay Skis and Deuce Ellis, as well as a host of others that could be soon like Tony Boy, Gaines, Chill Ali, Brother Tom SOS, Camouflage Monk, and Origino. Keep up with 607 Sound through their website, 607sound.com, and socials, and stay tuned for that album release coming soon. Let's get back into it.
Like 7 years ago, I guess, 6-7 years ago, when I first started getting involved in selling vintage.
Mhm.
I basically like kind of, went after him a little bit because I knew what a wrestling t-shirt fan he was,
Yeah.
but I also knew of what an underground hip hop fan he was. And I just kind of like, almost admired him. You know what I mean? I was like, oh, this guy's awesome. You know what I mean? Like, see what happens. So there was one show. I mean, I probably DMing him a little bit back and forth, like, hey, I have these WWFTs, blah, 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 blah. And he would DM me back. But there was one show that he was going to be, he was doing a hosting for a pay-per-view event, just at some bar. And, I grabbed my cousin and I was like, yo, let's go. Let's go to this. Let's bring the camera, the VHS camera. I'm going to go meet him and I'm going to give him this wrestling shirt. Yeah. And that's exactly what I did. I just went after it. I got him like this WWF Raw fleece. And my cousin was there and was able to like take a picture, and I was holding the VHS. I got Peter to say something, like a little drop. And ever since then, we just became, it was just, staying close to him, you know what I mean? And then he, we just became like true friends. And then he, he hired me to do like his merch. I was selling his merch. I would sell his merch at like Cheap Heat shows. That's his other podcast. Yeah. And, it just continued. It just continued.
That's awesome.
Yep.
How do you feel about the like? Are you a Griselda fan, like with the wrestling merch and all that shit? It's funny how popular it is now.
Yeah, I'm a fan of everybody selling merch and selling stuff.
Yeah,
because that's how everybody's making money.
I'm not a wrestling fan, but I will like I'll get like a mystery tee, and I got the Chris Benoit, and I didn't know who he was, and I was wearing it up on stage. And this person was like, how the fuck could you be wearing that shirt? And I was like, I don't know who it is.
Yeah.
And then I found out who I found out who that was.
Yeah, I was questioning that one.
Look, also has I'll see people with like the 3-eyed Hitler, and it's like,
that's the one hoodie I bought.
It's a hard hoodie.
I would never wear it.
But it's hard as shit.
It just blew my mind that somebody would make that.
Yeah. Isaac killed that painting.
Yeah. I mean, it blew my mind that West Side Gun would put that out as a merchandise, that I had to buy it. Me being a connoisseur of clothing, like I was like, yo, it might be worth 300 today, but like, just think of it down the road when my son is like 30 years old and he's like, this was merch back in the day, Dad. Like, this is what people were selling, is Hitler with 3 eyes. Like, that's insane. Guy's smart, man. Wes is smart.
You're smart because you think about it like that, but not a lot of like, all right. Yeah. You just were like, all you do is you saw that a shirt was this much and then you sold it for this much. But your store and what you've created is a lot of people's dreams that they haven't been able to accomplish yet or get to. Like, this is like a thing that's different than a lot of other things. Like, you are at the, every hill has a mountain next to it, but you're at the top of the hill of like this.
Of what, the vintage world? Because definitely not.
No, but I'm just the tying everything together, like creating something. When I say top, creating something that's special. That's what I like. I like to talk to people who create something that's special. That
I just created a little world that I like to live in. You know what I mean? Like, I love this kind of clothing. I love this kind of music. I love having people around me. Like, I'm in the shop. Like, people can come see me. I'm here Thursday through Monday. Come see me, 257 First Street. I'm here. It's not like I have anybody, because I enjoy this. I enjoy talking to people. I think that was like the biggest high I got off of when I sold that $1,000 in the Lower East Side. That first day of selling vintage in person was connecting with somebody that loved something so much that I picked out with my own eyes and brain, and I felt passionate about it. And then I was able to give it to them, sell it to them, and they felt even more empowered. And I was like, wow, this is crazy.
Yeah.
That's so powerful. To me, it was. And I'm sure that's how people are with music and how you are with interviewing people. It's like, man, this is just freaking cool. And it satisfies you.
And you working here, like being in the shop doing it, you want to be in not the flow state, but you want to live in a world that you're happy to live in. And I think a lot of people don't do that. I think a lot of people live in worlds that they don't want to live in.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of risk and there's a lot of dark days. You know what I mean? It still could be like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think if you're going to go down the road that you want to live and love, like, you have to just take those downs as equal as the highs. And that's just a true fact, because it's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. You know what I mean? The shows, the clothes, the days, there's going to be rainy days where nobody walks in. Could be like that for 4 days straight. Just last week. I mean, hey, story. Ida, my shop got flooded, bro. I was shut down.
For real?
Yeah, shut down.
Fuck.
Shut down. You know what I mean? Fucking pumping water out of my storage area. All my winter clothes that were in my storage area back there's about 2 feet of water. It lifted up the bins and dumped the fucking clothes, fur coats, all this shit. Gone. And it's not water. It's sewage. We're in Hoboken. It's just like there was water coming up from the drains instead of draining.
You're not saving this.
You can't. Some of it you can't. You know what I mean? And, you know, that could really get you down. You know what I mean? Corona, whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Shut us down. You know what I mean? People scared to come out. What are you going to do? This is how I make money. It's not off of fucking freestyles. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's just for something you love.
It's not. It's just fun. Selling this coat for $200. That's how I make money. And I was not able to. So you have to like not get scared. Rule number 1, never get excited. Never get excited. If it's a bad or good thing, calm down. It's all good. You know what I mean? We're going to be fine. And you just got to pivot and adjust to it and just go with it.
Never get excited. That's a good advice that I think it's true. Because if you get overly excited for something, you tell a bunch of people, it never works out.
I mean, it might. And then it's not even that great because you already got so excited about it.
Yeah. And then there's always something next. Whenever I hit like a milestone, I don't know how you feel. Like whenever you hit a milestone that you really fucking want, it's like, all right, but what's next? Like,
yeah, there's always going to be that. That's why like there's no end goal. You know what I mean? It's really, I do really cherish the present. Like not that I live for today, you know, I mean, I have a son. Like I think of the future, of course, you know what I mean? Like I want to be there for him. But at the same time, like now is all that is real.
Yeah.
This is the only thing that matters. This is my phone, by the way.
That's a great phone.
Yeah. I just hung up on the person, by the way. My bad. Whoever that was, they're probably going to call back. I might have to unplug. I just couldn't even hear them with that.
No, they're going to listen to this podcast. They're like, God damn it.
I know. It's probably like somebody outside.
Recorded him hanging up on me. No problem.
Let me get it real quick.
Yeah, no problem.
Vintage on first. No, we don't. Sorry. All right. Thank you. I get that question all the time. So people always want to know if like I'm buying.
Oh, if you're
like,
buying.
If they come in and take stuff and, that's an angle. But like I'm saying, the curation of my life is so important to me that 95% of the shit that people bring me, I'm not going to want, or people have this crazy value to it. Like that's another rule that I have to live by in this world is something's only worth what something is willing to pay for it. You know what I mean?
You can't be like, this is worth $700.
And to them, to this person, it's worth $7.
Yeah.
But hey, like I have that Marvin Gaye shirt up there. Very, very, very rare. It might not be worth shit to somebody, but to me, I don't need to let that go. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put a crazy price on it because I don't care if I sell it. Period.
Yeah. Damn. Is that your rarest piece, the Marvin Gaye shirt?
I mean, in the shop, probably right now. Yeah. 1983.
Do you buy things not to wear them?
All the time. Think I wear women's clothes?
That was a stupid question to ask you.
Yeah. I mean, not everybody's an extra large 2X. You know what I mean? Like I got to buy smalls. I got to buy mediums.
No, but I mean for yourself. Like you said, you bought that Hitler hoodie just to like keep for the future.
I would never wear it. I wear plenty of Griselda merch. I'm not saying I would never wear Griselda merch. I just wouldn't wear that one.
Yeah.
I just thought it was so wild. And like, I mean, I have like Kanye stuff, like I'm keeping on ice, Drake stuff. Like, these are moments, you know what I mean, that we're living through. Like 30 years ago or 40 years ago when Marvin, Gaye put his shirt out, people should have fucking saved him, dude. You know what I mean? Because they're historic moments in life.
But you have to have that's funny that you say that being such an in the moment person, because you have to have such a long
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. I'm in the moment, but at the same time, I'm not like, so out of it. You know what I mean?
You're living in the future because to have that mindset, like you do really have to.
Yeah. Like right now, the 2000s are big. like even clothing wise and just like time wise. You can even hear it like almost musically too. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that 2000s vibe is back, as we saw with Jadakiss fucking ripping it.
That was crazy.
Yeah,
That was
he was hot in my day. Like I'm
Yeah.
from like the Rockland County, Yonkers, Westchester area. That's what we were trapping. I mean, that's what we were moving around to. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Was Jada, the Locks.
crazy. That was
And that's why it was kind of like so epic now, because 20 years later, we're all living in the past. You know what I mean? Like, hey, that's when I was really outside. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There was no iPhones. There was no Instagram. None of that shit.
It's
He's
funny.
still killing it.
Yeah. I feel like I'm excited to look back at it, but I'm in the moment musically move. Like I like newer stuff. I usually don't go back too much and listen to like music for nostalgia purposes anymore. Like,
Oh, if you go in my car, the only thing I have are G-Unit mixtapes.
oh really?
Yes. I don't have like a aux cord.
You just play.
I literally have Return of the Body Snatchers in my car. You know what I mean? Like G-Unit radio 1 through fucking 18.
Where do you go out for? Don't give exact locations, but like, do you go out collecting? Is that part of your job? Like,
Yeah, that is my job.
yeah,
That is my job. I just flew in from Atlanta. I was in Atlanta last week shopping. I mean, I could say it because nobody can get to it. It's like a warehouse that, you know, I have private, exclusivity to, you know what I mean? Like you could go and spend the bread, but I doubt you're going to go and spend that, X amount because it's really for you know what I mean? It's for resale.
You know A.A. Rashid?
Yeah, of course.
So I had him on, and he's a big collector.
I saw that.
He's
it's fine.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because I appreciate his love for things. You know what I mean? I'm sure if he ever walked in this place, he might be bugged out.
He would fucking love this for real.
Yeah, I know. I saw things that were, I can show him.
He's a crazy. I want to go out to his place in LA too.
Does he have a shop?
He has a well, it's like a museum of. It's not clothes, but it's just like weird artifacts.
Right.
Like,
yeah, I love it.
He's a big collector of Pee Wee Herman shit for some reason.
Well, I'm a big collector, low key, of, like I told you, cassettes, and I have like my 6-year-old son. Me and him got really into collecting original Ninja Turtles.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like the figures, the cars.
That's
also
awesome.
like Street Sharks. Like big into Street Sharks.
Street Sharks.
Yeah, Street Sharks, Ninja Turtles.
Archie, that's fucking dope.
Yeah, Street Sharks. That's a comic book. That's pretty rare. But yeah, all the Ninja Turtle shit. Like I have like a VHS, like all the original. Like in my son's room, we have a VHS player.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's important to limit the TV like that because there's a beginning and an end. When you're watching like YouTube and shit like that, there's no end. There's no end. It just keeps playing and keeps playing and keeps playing.
Yeah.
It's crazy to me.
That is, that's true. When you have like a DVD or a VHS, there's an end. And now there's like,
it's over.
Like I've been watching Better Call Saul. Like, and when I watch it, it's just Netflix just keeps playing the next episode over and over again. Right. And I'm not even a TV watcher. I laid in bed like 6 hours the other day watching that shit. It's like, goddamn, I usually go for a bike ride, go for a run, but I'm just laying watching this shit.
Yeah, man. Can't be doing that.
Do you not live in the past, but do you try not to, do you limit technology? Like you don't have an aux cord in your car? Like
no aux cord, no. I mean, I have Netflix at the crib. I'm not going to lie.
What do you play musically for your kid?
Cassettes.
But like what type of music?
We have like the Ninja Turtle motion soundtrack. You know what I mean? Hip hop.
Mm-hmm.
Hip hop.
Does he like anything yet? Does he have?
Yeah, you know. He likes music. I mean, nothing crazy yet. I mean, he's just a good person. That's all I see. He's happy.
That's awesome.
And that's all that matters to me.
That's really awesome.
Yeah, thanks, man.
It's cool that, I don't know, that you've gotten to a point where like you do seem very like zen in the moment and peaceful. Like you have shit going how you want it to be, and it just kind of like worked out in that way.
Yeah.
Do you have any sort of like higher power feeling or like a spirituality? Like,
no, man. Like I just really I was with Crime Apple all day today, right? Mm-hmm. I brought him to High 97, do an interview with Rosenberg, and we went to Rosenberg's girl's place and did some photos with Miss Hatton. And like I thanked him on the ride back. He picked me up in a Benz and he's, all iced out. And I'm just like, yo. And I thanked him and he was like, why are you thanking me? He's like, thank you. for doing what you did. And I'm like, nah, bro, thank you. Like, this is such an amazing moment. You know what I mean? Like, I almost feel selfish, doing these type of things. Like, I'm like the fly on the wall to like, you just laid like the craziest freestyle, and it was just me, you, and Rosenberg. So like, thank you for letting me involved. Thank you for letting me sit in the car next to you. You know what I mean? Like, that's the shit I appreciate. Is it was there. It was just a couple hours ago. So it was like now, you know what I mean?
That isn't, yeah.
That's cool.
And because you're not like, and it's also like, you're not like a try hard winded, like you're just being, you're just doing it. You're living in the moment.
I loved it. I know Peter and I know Crime, and I love them both. You know what I mean? Like, they're super cool. And, it makes sense. He's coming out of album with Muggs. So this guy needs to be on 97. He's one of the best rappers like alive.
I can't wait to hear that freestyle.
Yeah, it's dropping this week. Yeah, for sure. When does this drop?
This is going to drop in 2 weeks.
Okay, so it'll be out already. Yeah, go look that up. Freestyle.
Awesome.
That's 97. Got the new Muggs album coming out. It's crazy.
Do you have any shows coming up? Do you have any freestyles coming up? Like,
well, we're involved in season 7 as we speak. We just had Homeboy Sandman,
who killed it. You can see his episode on Bucked Up.
Yeah,
too.
Probably by the time this comes out, we're in the next episode, Young Morpheus.
Oh,
fire.
Yeah.
Fire. We filmed who did we film last week? Nimlo, Bub Styles.
Both Nimlo. I just saw wasn't he here like last night or something?
Yeah, we filmed him. He's coming out an album with Static.
That's gonna be
I think
crazy.
that's public. I'm not sure if that's not public, but fire.
Yeah, they're always working together.
Yeah, no, it's coming out.
It's
coming out like within a month or so. I just didn't know in 2 weeks. Yeah.
And we've had people who listening should go check out. Like, I had UFO on twice actually. A great dude. I love UFO Fev. And he was one of the first people on.
He was on season 3.
Oh, season 3. Okay, yeah. He was killing it. Funny story about this because people will appreciate it. So I did a live episode with him at the Tiny Cupboard in Brooklyn. And it's this comedy club.
Oh, cool.
And I walk in and I'm like, smells like weed in here. And he's just smoking a blunt in the corner with his two guys he brings. And the booker's like, hey, could you ask him to put that out? And I'm like, I don't know, man. Why don't you do it? Like, I'm getting ready. He's like going up to them. This like kind of nerdy guy's like, hey, sir, do you mind putting out your joint for us? It was just
you can smoke outside.
Yeah,
New York is so legal.
I was like, I definitely smell weed in this.
That's cool.
Man, thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate you.
Yeah, dude, this is awesome, man. I appreciate you wanting to sit down with me. Like, who the fuck am I?
No, who the fuck am I? That you you closed the door for it. Like, I appreciate you for real. And,
it's cool.
And it'll be cool. I don't know how you feel, like vintage. You're talking about how I feel is I can't wait to look back at these 10 years from now.
Right. Agreed.
Like,
and I can't either.
Yeah, it'll be
part of history. I mean, I had these conversations with Rome, 1,000 words. You know what I mean? Like, that's why he's documenting all this stuff. Yeah. It's cool. It's important, man. It's important.
It really is. It's like, shout out everyone to like New Vegas and Cinematic too. Like, it is cool. And it'll be cool to look back because this is history.
Like, we're in it. That's why I said that to Crime today. Like, thank you. You know what I mean? Because who knows? That freestyle,
yeah,
could be the one that Big L did with Jay-Z. You know what I mean? Like,
for real,
it's epic.
That supply and demand show, the first first one back that
since Corona.
Like that's
fire.
historic.
1,000 people, bro. That was crazy.
Insane.
Yeah, it was cool.
Look at those artists. Look at Wild Stalker. Look at Lord Dramonte. Look at everyone who was on that lineup. Homeboy who showed up. Vel,
Nick F.
Everyone.
Crazy.
Like 10 years, 15 years from now, people are gonna be like, remember when we were at that show?
Yeah.
Right after COVID. Fucking remember, all these guys are crazy. It's
Yeah, man. That was wild to me, dude. There was like 200 people waiting. We didn't open the doors till 2:00, and there was like 200 people wrapped around the building by like 12:30.
That's insane. And people who were there who weren't even performing. Fucking Uncle John, fucking CG, fucking
people were flying in. People were DMing and sending messages out like weeks prior, like, yo, I'm flying in from Texas. Yo, I'm flying in from Japan, flying in from, all over the country, dude. It just blew my mind.
Yeah.
I was like, wow. Like, and then, full circle, after the show was over, those people that flew in, they came to the shop like the next day, like kids from Chicago and,
just to check it out.
That was cool, dude. They wanted to see where the freestyles were filmed.
And you were working.
Of course I'm working, bro. I'm never not working, man. This is my life, dude. This is my life.
All right. Last thing. Do you have like your dream show? Who's on it?
On what? Off top?
Yeah. Or at least for supply and demand. Like, who do you want to see perform live the most on your show? Also, Rome Street's killed it.
Yeah, killed it.
He's one of the best performers I've ever seen live.
Yeah,
we
he's
forgot
great.
his name earlier, but
he's amazing, man. Yeah, congrats to him also on the Rosado deal. That's
for real.
That's sick, dude. Yeah, no,
he deserves that.
And he's been working hard for years, bro.
For so long.
If you even understand when the first time I met Rome is when I first started selling vintage, like 10 years ago, and like Top Shelf didn't even exist. You know what I mean? I was just in this like Brooklyn. I was in Brooklyn and there's like this pop-up little market. And he came through and, introduced himself. I even had a picture, like some guy like was managing him at the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They were like, yeah, this is our artist, Rome Streets. And he was doing it back then. So good for him, man. Like,
and then he's still sitting out there selling merch the entire time before his show. Like,
I'm sure he won't be doing that much more because he's getting bigger, man. Yeah, I'm really proud and happy for him.
Man, thank you so much for doing this. I appreciate it.
You did.
Do you want to plug your shit for people?
No, yeah. Top Shelf Premium. Off Top is the show on YouTube, and find us. We're out there.
I didn't even realize my shirt matched your pants.
Look at that.
Peace out.